All right, it has now been 270 days since Joe Biden abandoned our fellow Americans behind enemy lines in Afghanistan and surrendered to the Taliban. That doesn't include thousands of green card holders. That doesn't include, of course, our Afghan allies, many of whom have been murdered. And the Taliban is now in full control, returning right to their hardline oppressive rule, as we predicted, sadly, oppressing women, young girls. Now, Piers Morgan grilled a Taliban spokesperson on his new show, Piers Morgan, Uncensored, about these major human rights violations. Take a look at this.
A girl should be entitled to go to school in Afghanistan the same way a boy goes to. You yourself said in August last year that they had nothing to worry about, nothing to be scared about.
The issue of secondary schools education for girls, they are under consideration.
Let me turn, if I may, to the issue of the now compulsory instruction for all women in Afghanistan to wear a full burqa if they go outside.
99% of the Afghan women, they are observing hijab voluntarily.
His brand new show, by the way, Piers Morgan Uncensored, as if there's any other Piers, airs new episodes 4 times a week at foxnation.com. All right, so watch very closely this interview with this Taliban guy. I predicted exactly everything that would happen. It was the worst debacle withdrawal ever. Even Anthony Blinken says 126. He acknowledges Americans are trapped behind enemy lines. Many of my congressional sources tell me that number is much higher. Then we have thousands of people that have American green cards eligible to be in this great country. They were trapped behind enemy lines. And our Afghan allies that we promised we'd never abandon, they're now being taken out in the streets and killed, or taken and never to be seen again, never mind the billions of military equipment. So the old Taliban is the new Taliban, Piers. This is exactly what anybody with a brain knew would happen.
Exactly right, Sean, and it's a complete betrayal of Americans that were there and remain there in great danger, a betrayal of all the interpreters and other Afghans who helped the West in their efforts in Afghanistan, but most of all, a terrible betrayal of the Afghani women. And in this interview I did with the Taliban official spokesman, Suhail Shaheen, was so disingenuous. He just basically told me a bunch of barefaced lies. And I eventually asked him one simple question. He has 2 daughters. I said, do they go to school? He's in Doha. Yes, he said, they do. And of course, right there is the hypocrisy which is riddled through the Taliban ethos. One rule for them and their children, another rule for these poor schoolgirls in Afghanistan. Just to be completely clear now, any girl after the age of about 12, 13 is not going to school. And he may say, well, they're entitled to. They're not allowed to. They're not going to school. They are having their education stolen from them after 2 decades of getting used to having one. And then you have this new draconian rule that Afghan women can't go out. In fact, they're told to stay at home. And if they do go out, they can only reveal their eyes. If there's any breach of that rule, then the male relatives or their male employer who may be held responsible, they are the enforcers. And if they don't enforce it, then they themselves face imprisonment. So you're taking really a step back to the dark medieval ages with this, to the very worst of Taliban 1.0. There is no Taliban 2.0. They are just as bad as they were before. And the abandonment of these people, I think, is going to be on Joe Biden's conscience now for the rest of his life, because it was a catastrophic failure of foreign policy to just up and leave and basically hand the country back to the Taliban wolves.
No, I'm glad you confronted him. I thought you did a really good job with that. What I don't understand is where are women's rights groups? Where's the gay and lesbian community? Because if you're gay or lesbian, they will murder you. Where are human rights activists in all this? Because they should be agreeing. We don't agree on everything, but we agree on this. We agree that rights are God-given, natural rights from God, not from government. And these fundamental rights do not exist for these groups in Afghanistan. And yet you don't hear a peep out of most people. Piers, nothing.
Nothing. And, you know, we hear a lot from big corporations like Disney when they want a virtue signal down in Florida about sex education to young kids, but not a word from them about the oppression of millions of Afghani women in Afghanistan, because, of course, it was a Democrat president that created this fiasco. And that shows a political bias for all these corporations. None of them dare speak out about this kind of thing.
Let me switch gears to the issue of doxing and the protesting. I call it intimidation and harassment of Supreme Court justices. I would imagine that we might be on other sides as it relates to the issue of abortion. That's not what this is about. It's a big lie that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, that abortion will be illegal in the U.S. It will not be. States will decide what restrictions or what lack of restrictions they want. Liberal states will, I'm sure, allow abortion. In some cases, they do now, up until the moment of birth, which to me is infanticide. But the issue, you call these people that are doxing these justices and protesting in front of their homes, you go as far as you call them domestic terrorists. Explain.
I think it is a form of terrorism. You know, I think when you mass protest outside the home of Supreme Court justices, many of whom have children, young children in some cases, and you are intimidating them, that is a form of terrorism. And I'm all for peaceful protest, Sean. I think it's the fundamental bedrock of any democracy. But to go and find the homes of Supreme Court justices who already, I think, have extremely difficult jobs, often very dangerous jobs. They're dealing with huge constitutional issues where there are people who feel very emotive about it, very angry about it. We know there are lots of crazy people out there. Do we really want to encourage them to go down to a Supreme Court justice's home and terrorize them and their families? I think it's unconscionable that this is happening. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. And I think I would say the same if it was the other way around politically. If these were right-wing protesters doing it to, you know, left-wing judges, I'd say the same thing. I just feel it is a form of terrorism. They are trying to intimidate people into making a decision which should be completely left to these judges.
Could you imagine for a second if I did anything similar, which I would never do? It's too dangerous. But imagine what the reaction would be, or if Donald Trump did it. Imagine what the reaction would be. It
would be outrage. Outrage.
Rightly so. Rightly so. Piers Morgan, thank you. Don't forget Piers' show, Uncensored, on FoxNation.com. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.